He's going to get me that poster. He will. But while he's on his way back, we're going to kill some time with something really cool. So I've got Michael McCulloch here from Ubisoft, and he's going to be talking to us about Scott Pilgrim, which is sort of based on the movie, sort of based on the comic, this weird kind of mix. So talk to us about it.
Well, it's a big love fest between all three, really. The game's going through, the same, you've got Ramona and her 7 evil exes. The game's going through all those different levels. We got to defeat the 7 evil exes in order to date her. The movie follows the same storyline. We're taking little bits of the movie, a lot from the comic, and kind of putting it all together and doing our own story with the game.
Now, one of the really cool things about this game is, obviously that comic has a very distinct art style.
Yeah.
And so, so does the game.
Right.
So how was it, how did you guys collaborate with, did you get like the comic artist to help out?
Well, no, actually we got Paul Robertson, who's a famous pixel artist.
Yes.
He just seemed like a great fit for this project. I mean, originally we talked about, hey, do we go live action style to match the movie since we're really partnering up with Universal on this? But, I think when we all talked about it, we realized, let's do something that's really true to the comic, really true to the nature of what the fans and the game is really all about. And so we got Paul Robertson to join in, and it was a perfect fit. I think when you look at the game and when you read the comics and kind of just follow the whole story, it just really all came together really well for us.
Now, how did you decide where to cut it? Right. So obviously you were tied very much with the movie, but you have license in the game. You go nuts, right?
Yeah, I was rereading through the comics again, and there's just like little elements like, oh, we didn't do that, or oh, we didn't do that. And I think the main thing is that you want to make a fun game, and you want to make a game that like makes sense and plays through well, and really hitting like the 7 evil X's and those kind of boss fights, and then leading up to it, we've got all these little kind of nods to the movie and nods to the comic, and just hitting on little points. So it's not like every character is introduced, but we touch upon things. You'll see people in the background that you recognize from the comics and things like that. So.
All right. Now, and I guess the really cool thing is it's not just single player, right? So how does it single to how many? 4 players. Right.
Yeah. So you have the 4-player co-op, and as you increase the number of players, you're definitely going to see more and more action on the screen. There's going to be a lot more chaos, and you can do combo moves. You can work with your friends, your partners, to do some sweet combo moves to take out the enemy. So
we see that there's 3 different difficulties.
Yep.
How hardcore are we talking?
It can get pretty challenging. I mean, I think it's just it's like what level of chaos are you ready to deal with? There's just more and more people coming at you, and they become a little bit more difficult. So you got to get a little bit smarter with your moves and your strong attacks, your weak attacks, and the combos of that. So anyway, this is level 3.
Yes.
Clash of Demon Head. So not only does Scott have to fight Ramona's 3rd evil ex, Todd Ingram, he also has to fight his own evil ex, Envy Adams, and which you'll see later as we get to that. But this is basically right now the band. This is Clash of Demon Head. They're getting dropped off for their show, and Scott's at the show. This will be similar to what you saw in book 3 when he comes. So now we're gonna go off and fight, and you can see that we're at a concert hall, so there's a lot of just characters there. And there's a big rumble. It's because there's a huge crowd coming ready to see them, and so you can even beat up just the innocent bystanders if you want to collect some extra money.
Now, what are you using the money for?
Well, there's shops throughout the game, and so you can buy lots of different items like burritos, you can buy coffee, you can buy t-shirts and things like that. Now, they don't show up on your character, but what they do is they enhance your experience points, your speed, your defense, your strength, things like that. So it's sort of the RPG elements of the game that we're incorporating.
Now, so the game's art style is totally awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, did you get any pushback, right? Big movie.
Yeah.
People are like, you're doing this?
Yeah. I think that, when we first had the conversations, being that we were working with the movie, there was maybe like, wait, shouldn't we be closer to the movie? But when you see this happen and when you read the comics, I mean, really the point was to give the fans the game they want. And you look at this, and the reaction we've got from fans all over has just been so solid. I mean, this is what people want when they want to play a Scott Pilgrim game. I mean, even if you look at the back of the books, it's kind of like this, And I mean, I just feel like people, if we did anything else, I think people would have been a little disappointed. So I think this is like, to me, this is really what Scott Pilgrim should be in terms of the game.
And so it's got up to 4-player multiplayer. Is that offline and online?
It's actually only offline.
Okay.
No online. We're trying to stay true to the old school NES days, arcade style. Yeah, I mean, there's it was just a decision that we made to try to keep it. We wanted it to be sort of more of a social fun experience and everybody getting together. And like this, what we're trying to do here too is like, this is the kind of game you want to play with your girlfriend. There's a little love story here. You're kind of hanging out, and you might be able to get the casual gamer in there to play that doesn't usually play, because it's actually pretty easy to pick up and play.
So Scott and Ramona got new moves, right?
What's that?
Scott and Ramona just got new moves.
Yes.
Popped on the screen.
Yeah, so there's level ups throughout as you play, and basically when you start off, you only have a different set of combo moves, but then as you progress, you're unlocking more and more, and you'll see as it comes into play, there's just a lot of fun moves you can use to help, whether it's blocking or whether it's picking up your enemies or picking up objects and different ways of using them. So the game really progresses as it goes.
Now, in terms of audio, which we can't actually hear,
Yeah.
it's a little loud.
Yeah.
Are you guys using music from the movie? Are you guys using voice from the movie?
So we got Anamanaguchi to do the soundtrack. So again,
good choice.
Yeah. So with Paul Robertson, Anamanaguchi, this property, we felt like, wow, we've really put together this sort of like perfect storm of things. And Anamanaguchi's been awesome to work with. They have absolutely fallen in love with the series and the game, and really wrote some really inspired tunes for this. And I think as you play through the game, what they did really fits with everything you're playing. So it's been really great to work with them.
Now, obviously, you guys are tied to the movie, so you're telling kind of a specific story arc with some enhancements.
Yeah.
There's a lot more issues of that comic. Do you think maybe you could see more of these?
Well, I mean, personally, we'd love to do more of these. I mean, this has been fun. I think the hard part is going to be like, is there more material that we can work with? Like, will there be any more? Will the book extend? Will there be another movie? Things like that that'll help us do it. If we had our way, I mean, if we could kind of continue to tell the story, I'd love to. But that's not always up to us.
All right. Now, talk to us a little bit about some of the animation too, because I mean, one of the things that Paul's really great at is all those little touches.
Yeah.
I mean, how much direction did you guys give him, or did he just go crazy and present this to you?
Well, it was a really collaborative experience. I think we wanted to let Paul be able to do his thing, and then also make sure that Brian Lee O'Malley was actually very involved too as well, and so he had to approve things since it's sort of his property to work with, and so it was really collaborative to make sure that it was true to Scott Pilgrim for Brian, and that Paul got to do what he wanted. But I think throughout this whole thing, whether it was working with Universal and on the trailers, or whether it was putting these things together for the game, I mean, everybody is just kind of like, oh wow, yeah, that's exactly what I would have done, and there hasn't been a lot of conflict. I think everyone just got really embraced the project and got behind it, and just kind of always tried to keep the spirit of Scott Pilgrim in everything we did. And I think that's why you're seeing what came together. But here's another new thing. So we've got a couple new things in this level that we hadn't shown at E3. One is pile-ups. There you also saw Ramona do a combo string where she just basically were getting consecutive hits in a row with her hammer. Scott does that too. So basically, if you get a good rhythm going, you're just like boom, 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 boom. Ramona's got to revive Scott. Here we go. This is one of the combos that you can do, basically, to help your friend out.
Ow. Now, we saw at the beginning, you said there's 4 players and there's characters that you can select. Are there unlockable characters?
We will be having some surprises coming.
Right.
We haven't announced them yet, but definitely expect some unlockables down the road. One thing that we just announced this week that we haven't talked about is that we will be coming out on Xbox Live on August 25th. So we've been talking about the PSN SKU, which will be coming out on August 10th, right before the movie, but we're proud to announce we'll also be on Xbox Live Arcade on August 25th as well, for all you XBLA fans out there.
Very, very cool. Now, the levels are structured, there should be a boss fight fairly soon, I'm assuming.
Yes, we're getting very close here.
Yeah.
We just got to beat up these last couple guys.
Let's see.
Welcome to Comic-Con. I'm sure there was a question about where I got my shirt or something. Okay, so now here we go. We finally, looks like we defeated all the guys. Now we're going up on stage and we're going to see Clash at Demon Head.
Well, we're going to make the running jump and get on
Yeah,
stage.
I think so. There's Envy.
Very nice.
Scott's own Evil X. And there's Todd, the vegan.
Listen. All right, so there's clearly some trouble.
Yes, here we go. Especially in the boss fights, I think is when you see a lot of Paul Robertson's artwork come to life. You know, like the bionic arm, and when we see Todd go, like we'll definitely see him with some pretty crazy moves as well.
Unless, well.
Revive! Come on, Ramona, save him. Oh, did Scott die?
Well, at least this continues.
Yes.
What difficulty did they pick? Is this average Joe?
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, don't hate now. So you know, one thing too we got going on at Comic-Con, we'll obviously be at the Ubisoft booth throughout the week. We've got the playable version there. And one really cool thing is that we've been working with Universal a lot. They've got this great thing called the Scott Pilgrim Experience.
Yeah,
it's across the street at the Hilton Gas Lamp, and it's open to the public so anyone can go.
We'll get a camera there, folks, you'll see.
Yeah. So you've got, you can do screen printing, you can make your own Sex Bomb shirts.
Nice.
We've got 3 kiosks, you can play the game there. There's gonna be flip books you can make, your own flip book. There's gonna be live music. You know, there's just a lot, like some of the cast and crew will be there. So it's just a really, you know, it's hard to get enough space in the normal convention hall to really experience the true Scott Pilgrim experience. So that we got a great thing across the street that you guys will have to go and check out for sure.
All right, well, thank you, sir. Yeah. So we're going to be leaving on this boss fight, which is it's getting ugly. So when's the game coming out again? What platforms?
On PlayStation Network, it'll be out on August 10th, and on XBLA, it'll be on August 25th. And the movie's out August 13th.
There you go. It's one big love fest for Scott Pilgrim. All right, so next.